what you're looking for.
Christina?
Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you for doing this. My question, since you assumed the role of general manager in 2019, this will be the third head coach hire within that timeframe. What does that say about the evaluation process from ownership, from you, the decision-making? Because when you look at an organization like the Minnesota Lynx and Cheryl Reeves' longevity in the league, there's a huge turnover rate when it comes to coaches in the WNBA, whether successful or unsuccessful.
Yeah. I think that Cheryl's kind of set the standard in the WNBA for exactly that, not only longevity, but success. I think when you go back and you look at the Lynx records over the years, there are some real down years there. There's under 500 records, but they also had that dynasty run where they won every other year. I think that during that time we just spoke on, right? Like this league is different than just a couple of years ago, let alone that long ago. And I just think it's more about an evaluation of the league and how the league is changing and who is coming into this league and leading these organizations on the floor. So I think it's more about that. This is not a results-based organization. This is not about not winning or winning. It's about how do we position ourselves to be at the top of the league in a real sustainable way as the league does evolve in the ways we're talking about on the floor. So for me, I think, in terms of Cheryl, I think she's exceptional, and I think that she's set the standard in that regard. But I think it's more indicative of the league at large than anything else.
Look, man, let's just call it for what it is. All this press conference nonsense coming from the Liberty general manager was nothing but word salad served on a silver platter of confusion. I mean, 41 minutes of corporate spin, double talk and vague explanations, and still nobody knows what's the actual reason for firing Sandy Brondello. All we got was a bunch of the league is evolving. It's not about results. It's about sustainability. Man, what are you talking about? How are we in professional basketball and suddenly results don't matter? This is a league built on competition, performance, and execution. Don't gaslight us like we ain't watching the games. It's like they're trying to sound smart to justify a decision that actually doesn't hold weight. Because when you look at it logically, and this whole thing about Cheryl Reeve being the standard, cool, yeah, we respect Cheryl. She's elite. But if Cheryl Reeve is your example of what longevity and excellence looks like, then why not hold Sandy to the same model? Cheryl didn't win her first title until her third season, and that was with a loaded team. So if she's the blueprint, Sandy was right on track, maybe even ahead of schedule. Sandy took over a struggling Liberty team, got them into playoff contention, elevated them to finals level basketball, and brought home a championship. And let's be real, coaching a super team is way harder than it looks on paper. That team got egos, expectations, media pressure, and players who sometimes didn't show up when it mattered most. How is that Sandy's fault? When Breanna Stewart is missing clutch free throws, when Sabrina Ionescu disappears in crunch time, when Jonquel Jones, a former MVP, isn't making the impact she should be making expectedly. How exactly is that on the coach? The scheme was there. The plays were drawn. The looks were created. Execution didn't happen. And instead of calling out the stars, the general manager decides to slide Sandy under the bus and act like it's a long-term strategy decision, not an emotional reaction to embarrassment. You can't tell me you assembled arguably the most talented roster in the WNBA, lost early, and now want to hit us with it's not about wins and losses. Come on, man. It's always about wins and losses. People don't listen to losers, they listen to winners. Michael Jordan threw up thousands of shots, but they only talk about the ones that he made in clutch moments. Right? So just say y'all panicked. Just say the pressure got to you, the optics were bad, and somebody had to take the fall. Because that's what it looked like what happened. And this is the problem with front office culture in sports. They talk a good game, but when the lights get bright and the team under delivers, the first one going is always the coach, even if it doesn't make basketball sense. This man doesn't. They can't. He can't relate. He don't touch a basketball. He's in an office. Let's be real here. Sandy's resume speaks louder than a press conference ever could. And you better hope they find someone better than Sandy Brondello, because I doubt it. They might be biting their own dust based on a decision he made. Right? Because Sandy resumes, she's proven she's a winner. And if we look at the actual pattern here, she was primed to come back next year and probably win it again. That's what sports is. May the best team win, right? So how it ain't about wins or losses. Then what is about then? What is about? Politics, a bunch of jargon that ain't got nothing to do with the sports and embracing the beauty of basketball in itself? 'Cause that's what that sounds like to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, family. We just having a conversation. That's literally what Cheryl Reeve did. Win, lose, win, lose, win. It's a common rhythm in championship dynasties. So how are you using that example but not seeing the same pattern forming under Sandy? That's either short-sighted or just being dishonest. You just being disingenuous. And let's not ignore the fact that this Liberty team already fits the evolving league model you keep talking about. Like, what are we talking about here, huh? Like, they shoot the three, they play fast, they got positional versatility, and their offense looks modern. So what are we changing exactly? Are you about to overhaul the whole roster now just because just to match some vague future trend you didn't define in a press conference? Now let me ask you this. If Sandy pops up in Seattle or another contending franchise, right? How many of those Liberty stars are going to think twice about where their loyalty lies? Breanna Stewart's already got history in Seattle. You don't think she might go back over there where she already won? Especially if Sandy's there? And Sabrina, man. You can see it in the press conference. Her face said everything. You look confused, frustrated, over it. You think players don't know when something's off? You think they're not having side conversations about what really went down? Don't be surprised if this whole move backfires and backfires fast. Because while y'all here talking about sustainability and growth, you just burnt the bridge with a coach who had your system trending in the right direction. And for what? One early exit? That's not how dynasties are built. That's how teams fall apart. All this talk about the league evolving. Okay, cool. Yes, the game is changing. Shooters are more important than ever. The pace is up. It happened in the NBA, right? Now you got bigs coming out from the paint and having to be able to shoot a corner three and a three, right? You got in the NBA, the Nuggets, you got Jokic, the Joker, shooting threes, tall as ever, right? So yeah, the game is changing. We know that. You need 1 through 5 to be able to shoot and defend in space. That's real. But if you're actually watching the Liberty games, they already play that way. Like, am I not seeing something here? Is my eyes like what's going on? It's not adding up, man. It's not adding up from a basketball perspective. The league didn't pass Sandy by. She didn't lose the locker room. She didn't get out coached. Her players just didn't show up when it counted. Instead of holding them accountable, y'all took the easy role and put it all on the coach. That's soft leadership. That's not basketball logic. That's front office politics trying to rewrite reality. And I hate to see it, man, because Sandy is one of the most best minds in the WNBA. And she's got pedigree. She's got the respect of her peers. She's proven she can manage talent, adapt systems, and give results. So when you get rid of someone like that for reasons you can't even clearly explain, articulate yourself, it just makes the organization look unstable. Players feel that, fans see that, and your credibility takes a hit. Now, next season, all the eyes are going to be on New York. And you better come out swinging because you painted yourself in a corner talking about sustainability like you haven't like you haven't been sustainable and be able to win the championship just last year. If you don't make the finals next year, if you don't win it all, then this move looks even worse in hindsight. I won't be surprised if someone pick up Sandy Brondello and then when she does have whatever franchise she does become a part of, wash the New York Liberty. Boy, that's going to be something interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Catch you in the next one. Peace.